Okay, Gene, well, it's time to go ahead and get your watch opened up. Sorry for the dog noise. And have a look a little deeper inside than we did on the assessment, and start with the process of getting you serviced. It really looks like this watch was worn and appreciated, but certainly not abused. Very nice watch, in fact. Okay. So, let's see. Start by taking a few components off here from the winding side. Let's see if we can remove a few pieces, make our life a little easier. Oh boy. Ooh, wow. Whoa. That looks like motor oil. Oh my goodness, what is that? That is some very vitreous lubricant. Well, maybe it has protected your fourth wheel a bit. Okay. No rust there. Certainly lots and lots of material where your seal should be. Oops, come back. Interesting. Very interesting. So no rust on your ring. This usually is the sort of canary in the coal mine for moisture intrusion on this side, because water wicks in and gets along this edge. Hairspring looks pretty good, in spite of some signal that was not as clean as one might hope. Alright, let's see if we can persuade your die shock to fall out. Nope, it doesn't want to. Rotoco to the rescue. There we go. Okay, well, let's have a good look at the dial and hands. All right. Woo-wee. Lots of goodies. Lots of stuff inside here. All right. I don't think this is quite as bad as it first looks. Let's do some simple cleaning. Look at that, already 100 times better. Not bad at all, in fact. Got some things here that need to go away. Some little crystalline bits. This is your worst spot right here. I'm not sure why that's so bad, but we will take a Hippocratic oath here and try to do no harm. But most of these things will just lift off with a little bit of persuasion. So we can see this wants to come right off. Not too bad. Okay. Well, I'm buoyed by this. This is good. I think we're going to be able to get your dial very, very much better than it looked when we first started. Okay, well that's always a good sign. Your hands, I'm not so sure where we're going to go. A lot of this sort of green corrosion is the brass that pulls itself through when the moisture is there. Okay, we're gonna have to play with those a little bit. I am intrigued by this hand and where that came from. There's no service marks on your watch. So this hand was put on by someone, mysterious watchmaker. Oh well, okay. Well, we'll come back to your dial. That is some greasy, grimy gopher goo right there. I don't know where that came from. Somebody lubricated your winding components very, very heavily and ended up here in your fourth wheel. Okay, well, let's actually get your dial and hands off while we're in here. Do that now. Taking some care to ensure that we're not scrunching anything into the dial as we do this. No dates. In the later years, they didn't really do much dating on the back of the dial, so not unexpected. Well, your movement looks pretty good. Doesn't look terrible. No, I mean, there's no big rust spots here in the center. That's always a plus. That's good. Rust is the nemesis of mechanical movements. It is just so bad for pieces and parts. These small components really suffer if they get rusty. So making sure that's not there is a big deal. But for now, it looks pretty good. Okay. Actually, before I do that, let me take all the power out. Let me make sure there's nothing left. Okay. Ooh. Let's take your balance off. It looks pretty good. Pretty good. Got some rust here and definite rubbing of your mainspring. It's worn. Worn arbor ports are there for sure. Such a weakness of these movements is that hole in the main plate that we fill with a jewel to make right again, so everything fits the way it should. Alright, we're going to take a very close look at this center wheel pivot, or this fourth wheel pivot in the center, before we get too far. There's your third wheel. These can suffer from rust as well. I just replaced one in a watch. It needed some extra love and attention. Had gotten some rust inside, and man, it really is bad. Bad stuff. Take a close look at your pallet fork. Click spring. Oh yeah, boy, that is pretty well egged out, and you can see where the barrel has been grinding into the main plate. That's never good, but we will take care of that. Center wheel. Sorry about that. Too much stuff right here where I'm working. Your fourth wheel looks pretty good. Too bad. All right, we'll clean that and take a close look. Let's go ahead and disassemble your calendar works and your keyless works. English-Spanish day wheel. And let's go ahead, pull your plates. Come here. Runaway screw. All right. 1 and 2. Date ring. Correcting. Okay, so now a little bit of corrosion here. You see some in here in your yoke. Now these are interesting. These calendar wheels can get really, I would call it swollen almost, because what happens is they stop turning easily on this post. Not sure if I would classify yours in that way, but it's certainly stiffer than maybe I like. There we go. You can see it doesn't really want to pop off easily. It's sort of stuck. Oop, there it goes. All right. Well, we shall see. Cannon pinion. Center wheels have rust, then that's a little bit problematic. Yeah. Not the cleanest I've ever seen. The problem with rust is that it's a crystalline form of iron oxide, of course, and it forms, it can change its conformation on the molecular scale, and atomic scale, and it can expand much like ice in a substantial way. And so as a consequence, it pushes things around like jewels and other friction fit items that are in your movement. So rust is a real bear. And so if it's confined and you get rust, you end up getting issues with important things that should not be moved, like jewels. Jewels are specifically in a place that provides the right kind of clearance and the right kind of spacing for wheels and pivots and things. So rust is bad. Woo! That has got some grease. I have to clean that by hand a little bit. Okay, so what I was seeing is potentially rust. Turns out to be a lot of grease. A lot of very stiff grease, in fact. Grimy grease. Not sure quite what's happening here. Okay. Okay. Setting. Button. Put that here. There's your yoke spring. Whoa! Alright, come back. And that's your movement torn down. Alright, so we have some work to do. We're going to look at all your pivots and all your bushings and all your jewels and make sure everything's clean. We're going to jewel this plate. We're going to jewel this plate. We're going to take a very close look at all the things, and then we will come back. Okay, Gene. Well, it's time to get going on the reassembly process. I wanted to point out, of course, your new lower mainspring arbor port jewel here and its corresponding partner, the upper mainspring arbor port jewel. So those are new components that are extending the life of your watch, which is good. So we're going to begin putting things back together here. So we need to start with the last inspection of all your pieces. First we'll put in your center wheel. And there we go. Okay, now we can fit your barrel. Add a little bit of lubrication. Okay, we'll start with your escape wheel. Third wheel. And your fourth wheel. Let's take a closer look here. Yep, looks good. Okay, at least at this magnification, everything looks all right. It gets a little bit of lubrication along its contact point with the center wheel. Try and get these as flat as possible. Okay, with the 6309, you got to put in your click spring first. So that goes here. Okay. And now to me. All right, so let's get some screws in place. Good. All right. Very good. Let's put your cleaned ratchet wheel in place. There we go. Alright, now we can flip your movement and install some parts for the other side. So we'll start here with your die shock setting, which has been pre-lubricated. Gets a very precise drop of oil right in the middle of that top jewel, cap jewel. And now we lubricate your center wheel to accept your cannon pinion. Okay. Now we can lubricate your third wheel and your escape wheel. Oops. A little bit on the bridge there. Okay. Let's clean that little drop up. Don't want excess oil floating around, for sure. Okay. So now it's time to assemble your escapement. So first we start with your pallet fork, which also has been lubricated. All right. Now it's bridge. Doing what it's supposed to do. It's good. Good. All right, let's add some power in preparation for your balance. Okay, there we go. Starting to move. We just need to secure everything. Okay, now put your die shock in place. Its retaining spring goes on. Come on. There we go. Okay, let's add a little lubrication. Get everybody nice and lubricated. Alright, let's demagnetize your movement and then we'll take a look. Okay, well, right out of the gate we are doing pretty well here. Numbers are remarkable, in fact, I'd say. So we got some adjustments to make. So let's see how we do. Going in the right direction? No, of course not. First try is always 50-50 chance. Alright. Let's bring down your rate a little bit in anticipation of our adjustments. Yep, there we go. Doesn't look too bad. Okay, so let's bring the rate down. Essentially what I'm doing is adjusting the length of the hairspring, effective length, by closing the distance between the stud and the adjustment lever. Okay. Alright, well, that looks pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that so far. See how the movement responds. But overall, I think that's a nice result for sure. All right. Well, running in the 230s, approaching 240. I think we're going to let this break in a little bit more, and then we'll proceed to your calendar. Okay. I'm pretty happy. This is good. Right where we want to be. All right, Gene. Well, we've been breaking in for a little while, and the numbers are just stunning. So I'm going to go ahead and start with the calendar side. We're going to get your moving back together. All right, looking good. Okay, Gene. So we're going to get started here. So lubrication is the name of the game here. Just like with the train, we got to make sure all your parts and pieces are properly lubricated. Switch to a little grease here. This is your rebuilt crown and stem assembly. All right, let's see here. It's looking pretty good here. Okay. Right. Alrighty. Oh, come on. There we go. Right. Good. Oh. Sorry about that. Okay, now we're ready. Goodness. Alrighty. Now this one goes in for the last moment. Okay. We need your power wheel. And now your plate. Okay. Its screw. Okay. Okay, great. Hello. There we go. Good. Okay, so now we can put your jumper here. We lubricate, just like so. Next is your date wheel. Okay. Alrighty, last plate. And the screw. Come on. All right. Now we put your date wheel back on. Come on. There we go. Put your C-clip. Chamfer side down. That's it. We are ready to go. Let's see how we turn over here. Should go from the 4th Friday to the 5th Saturday. 5 set. Good. Okay, let's check quick date changes. That looks good. Very good. Okay, we are all set. Okay, Gene, well, we've reached the end here with your watch, so we're going to go ahead and finish the last few parts of getting it fully back together. We've got some pieces to go in after we set the hands and get the movement back in the case. It just makes it a little bit easier to do that. Once we've gotten that taken care of. So everything came out really nicely. This is one of those movements that just wants to keep running hard. It's a really great runner. So that's very exciting. Sorry again for the snoring in the background, but it's the way of things. Okay, so let's see. Last thing we have to really think about is your winding components. So those are pre-built and pre-lubricated here. Just have to make sure it's clean and ready to go. Perfect. Okay. Good. Last screw here. For some reason they're exhausted today. Both snoring up a storm. Okay, here's your winding weight. Back on. Oh, now, come on. Settle down, screw. There you go. Okay. And with that, we put your case back seal in. Newly fresh and lubricated case back seal. Perfect fit. Case back goes in. And with that, we have concluded the service of your 6309, which has really made a remarkable transformation in my mind. Okay, well, here it is. Here's the watch. All right, well, this has been quite the undertaking. It is a great running watch. I have not seen many that run this well, I have to say. I was expecting this to be a bit of a problem simply because there was so much moisture that had done so much to the watch. But we're going to review. Let's go over what we did. The movement is fully serviced. 2 new jewels, of course, upper and lower mainspring arbor port jewels. Your hands, if you recall, were pretty well wasted. What I was able to do with the metal, at least, was to take care of the corrosion, have that remediated. You lost a little bit of the shine towards where the loom is, but you know, the loom itself looks so good that it sort of keeps your eye from seeing too much of that. I think there's still enough shine there, and there's plenty of shine on the back end here of the minute hand, which really helps a lot. Your dial itself had some damage. I don't know if you recall, there was a damaged spot here. I was able to take care of that. It had leaked a little bit of, you know, moisture or corrosion or whatever into the loom right there at the 9 o'clock, but I think it cleaned up really well. I was able to take all of the material that had accumulated, at least on the paint below the loom. I was able to take that off there. There's also another spot here at your 2 o'clock that I was able to take care of as well. So that looks quite good. Your chapter ring had some corrosion on it, had some stuff. I was able to clean that up on the inside. I reloomed your hands, of course. You know, you have this, I'm not sure the origin of this lollipop end sweep second, but you know, it's part of the history of the watch. It looks good. I think it actually brightens up the look of the watch a bit. And if I'm frank, I kind of like it. I think it looks really fun. Your bezel clicks just as it should. Your click ball, however, is no longer captured by your case. So when I took the bezel off, the click ball fell off. And so that's normal. That's not out of the realm of what happens with these watches. Sometimes the click balls, it's just held captive in there sort of by the case being cinched around the ball. And it's totally normal for that to happen. But I was able to put it back on. The spring is fine. If you ever take the bezel back off, I hope you don't, but if you ever do, or if somebody ever does for you, again, make sure to let them know that the click ball is loose. New case back seal, rebuilt your crown, everything is exactly as it should. The numbers on the watch, the movement is running extraordinarily well. It's just so clean. I really am proud of the way that this thing runs. It is a great watch. Just to go over the things that are coming back to you as part of the service. Let's see, you got a whole bunch of goodies in here. And some more, actually. It's down in there. Come on. Your crown seal is in here. Does not want to come out. There we go. Okay, so case back and bezel seal, of course. You've got your old crystal here. Your spring bars were toast because they were just the wrong size, and so I'll send you back a set of properly sized. I think I have a set of Fat Boy spring bars from Uncle Seiko that work perfectly. Your bushing, that was replaced with a jewel in your main plate, or your, for some reason my brain isn't working, in your bridge. That's your crown seal, of course. That'll go here. And this is a funny little piece. This is the date corrector that snaps the date into the next day. The next day of the week, or the next day. The next date. So the next from like 4 to 5, 5 to 6. this was very weak and not doing its job very well. The date would get hung up, so I just replaced that. So that's what's going to come back to you, as well as this beautiful 6309, which I think is a great example, and I hope you enjoy it. All right, well, thanks, Gene. It's been a real pleasure. I'll be in touch, and thanks for watching.